America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast Sunday edition, season 5, episode 38, titled Bratt, Thompson, and Vanecek elect for arbitration. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron and Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Shorts guy is out on assignment somewhere after the Red Bulls and NYCFC game. As we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network.
Yeah. Hey, and don't forget, we're now on MySpace. Bringing it back, dude. Bringing it back. Get your page loaded up with as many emojis as you can. Let's get it going.
I'll embed the HTML code on MySpace.
The 8-bit emojis.
Yeah. I had some, dude, my MySpace used to crack me up because it served no purpose other than to amuse me. So it was like these, the penguin slapping the other penguin into the ice, and just like every stupid GIF or whatever you could find. I was like, well, this sounds good. Let me copy the code, put that in there, and sparkle it. Boof. And there you go.
And everybody was friends with Tom.
Yeah, you had to be. That was part of the requisite or prerequisite.
And if no one knows what we're talking about over here, so there was a big old podcast with a get-together of many of the Devils podcasts out there and blogs. And Beer Baron was our representative, and apparently we found out we have a MySpace page. No one knew about it, but Beer Baron plugged it yesterday during the big podcast, and I'm just excited to check out the MySpace page. I mean, it's been a long time. Gonna see if I still remember the password to get in there into my old one, and
You think that thing's still running somewhere? Nobody ever deactivated it, right? So it's kind of like just floating around in the ether. Like now,
in the netherworld.
There's a Doctor Strange in a Multiverse of Madness, and he like stumbles upon one of the multiverses. Is everybody's MySpace pages are like the top thing in the world. Twitter doesn't exist. Everything's the same except MySpace is the king of all social media.
So it was a good get together though of all of the Devils podcasts and bloggers, and that's what we want. Why are we always sectioned off into all these cliques? There's no need to be. Let's get together, Devils fans. We all want the same damn thing, and that's a winning team. So it was good to see everyone come together there and hang out. And like I said, Beer Baron and Nick Villano were representing the Let's Go Devil podcast network over here. And plenty of others as well. So if you can, go ahead and check that out on the old interwebs. If you missed it yesterday, plenty of good stuff in there, plenty of good content. And hopefully we'll do more.
I think we definitely will be. This is a shout out to everybody that put it together. And Brat Pack, if you're on Twitter, you know who this is. If you're a Devils fan, you know who he is. Was the host of the show yesterday, but we had our good old friend Jersey Joe, who I haven't talked to in a while, but Jersey Joe is on there. Locked on Devils is on there. Devils State of Mind. Pucks and Pitchforks, as you mentioned before. Dirty Devils, I don't know if he was able to make it. I think he had a work conflict or something like that. And then John Fisher as well. So we had a lot of good times. We had a lot of good people on there last night. A very good conversation. 2 hours long. I was like, damn, man, I'm not used to I'm usually at an hour. I'm like, get me out of here. My brain is already mashed potatoes. So 2 hours long, but it was really fun. It was a good time. And hopefully we'll do it again. And big props to all those guys. It was a fun show to do. So moving on to the business at hand. We have some arbitration going on, my friend. And I know a lot of people get a little worried about the word arbitration because it's like, oh, they can't come to an agreement. Arbitration happens way more often than you think it does. And it's actually not a big deal. It's kind of almost on par now where there's, negotiations. And sometimes this is just a way for a player to kind of get the negotiations to go a little bit quicker because typically they get things figured out before the arbiter has to come in and actually delegate between the two sides and, decide what the actual term's going to be. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think that Fitzy's going to get everything done. I even said last night, listen, the people that have been giving him such negative publicity, he's been doing a pretty solid job. Yeah, he missed out on Goudreau, but 31 other teams missed out on Goudreau too. And if you think that we were one of three that were actually really trying hard, we might have been trying the hardest, but I guarantee everybody put in a phone call or at least a flyer, like, hey, what are the chances that he would think about coming to Dallas or here or there? I mean, obviously, if they have the cap structure available to do something like that, they were trying to take phone calls on it. But we weren't the only team that really missed out on it, and that happens. You're not going to get the top prize every year. Last year, getting Dougie Hamilton was amazing, and we should be thankful for that. So instead of looking at what we don't have, enjoy what we have. I try to tell my kids that all the time, too.
I know me and Sam Wu are in the same perspective that we are happy that Johnny Gaudreau signed with the old Columbus Blue Jackets and that we're able to go out and make some other moves as well. So Devils fans, let's come together on it. Who cares? Who cares about it?
Who wanted him anyways?
I'm past it, man. I'm totally past it. I'm onto it. I want to see what we can get. Obviously we were talking last night with the trade of Ty Smith for John Marino. Obviously this lines up for a deal, package plan being put together. Who is it going to be for? I'm not sure, but definitely a logjam there on that right side of the defense now. And Damon Severson, will it happen now? Will it happen at the trade deadline? I am not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the move at some point. Preferably as part of a big package for who I prefer, Matthew Tkachuk. But we'll see who Fitzy can actually put together. I know that's dream fantasy land for Scotty, but I also think it's kind of a real possibility, especially everything that's going on in Calgary now.
It's funny. Last night we had that conversation of like, who do you think the Devils could possibly try to get? There's a really strong chance, by the way, that they're done. Like getting Marino is a big move, and I feel like a lot of the.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're done either.
I don't think they're done either. You can't have that many guys on your right-handed side like that. Dougie, Marino. You're going to put Marino on the third pairing, or are you going to put Severson on your third pairing? And neither makes sense.
But I don't think that's that's a bad situation to have. Like, instead of having a defenseman logging like 20, 25 minutes a game, 20 to 22, more realistically, you could split those minutes a little bit more evenly. I don't know. And Nemeth is going to be. I think he's going to get a start in Utica. He's going to be in Utica to start the year.
I don't know. I'm looking at him as he might be another Dawson Mercer too. So I would not be surprised to see Severson on the move and Simone Nemec. They're on that third pairing with Brendan Smith. I can totally see that happening. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Wait, hold on. Sam said I wanted to dispute that arbitration is good. Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, we could talk a whole Buckeye. Look at Shane Van Sickle. Buckeye Johnny. I love it. Johnny Ohio.
I wanted to
let's talk about the arbitration.
I've been reading a lot of ideas and points on Twitter. Again, we like different points of view, but arbitration is not automatically a good thing, folks. You can hurt a player's feelings and ego while you're at it because it's Tom Fitzgerald's job to bang the price down when you go into this arbitration hearing. But thankfully, it's Tom Fitzgerald, not Lou Lamoriello, because Lou Lamoriello used to bang it down to the point where Billy Guerin got mad, then got traded mid-season. Yeah, Scott Gomez, Scott Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer, I remember quoted in the Star Ledger saying that I shouldn't have to fight for every single contract. And
that's really disappointing to hear, just to relive that, but go on.
Yeah, but it's just like every time Scott Niedermayer, there was always a dispute where he had to hold out a little bit, if you remember, but, has respect for Lou. But sometimes arbitration hearings is, you really don't want to get to that point for the very reason of, well, something could happen. Tom Fitzgerald could go in there and say, okay, say if Jesper Bratt is asking $9 million and the Devils offered $6 or $7 million, and then Tom Fitzgerald has to explain why he's worth this much and say, well, he got benched a couple times. Yeah, but whatever. That's why I see a lot of people think it's a great thing. I think it's just
not that it's great. It's just that a part of the process. It's more so that it's just become like one of the norms. You know what I mean? I don't think it's as like, oh my God, no. Like it's not as scary going into arbitration. Like there used to be a thought process of like a player goes into arbitration. You're like, oh God, like this isn't going to end well. This is going to it's going to be bad terms. Like you're saying, someone's feelings are getting hurt. And it's either going to be the team or the player. But I feel like nowadays it's more so, all right, just cut to the middle chase and it's like more of a threat. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of it too is, I know, especially with the Scott Gomez situation, his dad was his agent. So you have your dad in there representing you and friggin' Lou Lamb's telling you every reason why you shouldn't get paid this money. I am sure some of that information got transferred back to the younger Gomez, post-arbitration process. And that's a lot where the bad feelings came about. But yeah, I mean, feelings can get hurt. And because that's it's both sides, like the player is trying to prove that he's worth more and the team is trying to prove that they're worth a little less. And it's hard coming to an agreement on that. The only good thing is that it means that Jesper Bratt will be on the team next year, which is
that's
important.
Could he hold out?
It's important.
Could he hold out if he's not happy with the ruling? Has it happened in NHL history? I'm just wondering.
Restricted free agent? I don't know.
You could sit out a year, not get paid.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but I highly, highly doubt that.
It's rare, but I'm just saying that there are tweets that I was reading before that was just kind of like, it's not automatic, people. There's still that 1% chance that something could go wrong. That's all. That's all I want to say.
There is, but yeah, of course. But I mean, I don't remember who said it on the old YouTube over here. Hello to everybody on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. But I'm not sure why Tyce Thompson is going to arbitration. Basically, he's coming back from an injury. But I can see Jesper Bratt, and I could definitely see, Vanecek wanting to test the arbitration process a little bit, Jesper's in for a nice raise.
So Fitzgerald brings the medical reports in Tyce Thompson's arbitration hearing.
Well, I mean, what does he really have to stand on over here? If he had like some 40-goal season or something, and he can demand like a one-way contract or something, maybe, I don't know, but I'm not really sure what they're going at there.
So Shane on YouTube Live. What's up to everybody on YouTube Live, on Twitter? What's up, everybody on Twitter? It's my place now. It's like my home away from home. Shane Van Sickle says, "What's your guys' number for Bratt? I'm comfortable at 6.8." Now, he also said it pushes the dialogue along, which is another. That's kind of like the point that I was saying before. It's arbitration is like one of those things. It's like, all right, come on, we're going nowhere with this. We're going to arbitration. Like it's either going to get solved or you're going to come up with a solution sooner than later. And let's see, we have Thompson will get 750 to 950K. Yeah, I would think Bratt is going to get anywhere between 6 and 7 million a year. That's from Eric on.
I think his agent's probably pushing for 7, and I think the team is probably pushing for somewhere around
6.8 to 7.5. YouTube, you guys got a lot of good insight on this, so let's keep those comments going.
I think that's a little much. I really do. I think 6.8 is a little much. I think somewhere in the 6 million. I think in the low 6 million
6.5.
range.
I think it's right on the nose of 6.5. I think that's comfortable. No more than Nico. Shane said, I agree with that. I don't think he should be making more than Nico.
Well, that's more than Nico, I think.
No, Nico's at what, 7?
No.
Jack's at 8. Jack's at 8 flat.
No,
I
they're
think.
not.
Check it out. Mr. No, they're not. Go take a look at your numbers. Go get your fancy book.
Jack, no. You are correct. Jack is at 8, and then Nico is at 7.2.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say like 6.5.
I think Jesper would be 6.5. I think that's reasonable. Nylander is making. Dude, Shane, you're on the money. Thanks, buddy. Nylander said. Nylander is making 6.9. I think 6.5 is the middle ground, says Eric. I really do think that 6.5 to 6.8, floating in between that area, 6.9. We could, everybody could have that fun joke about 6.9, but around that area, I think he's worth it. 7, ooh. I mean, he was the highest producing. He had the most points on the team last year. He is. You have to say that no matter what line you put him on, he made that line better. And there's no denying that. It was like the way the offense went is wherever Jesper was. If he was on a line with Nico, Nico's line was great. If he was on a line with Jack, Jack's line was great. So the team really, it's not like the offense went through him, but you could tell that he was the most impactful player on the team. In regards to putting up numbers. So I think he's worth a decent amount, but Sam is saying 6.63.
I say 6.66.
Luke is saying 6.3. 6.66. The mark of the beast.
There you go. That's all you need right there.
No, if they ever signed Satan in his Miroslav Satan in his prime.
Miroslav Satan
gave him number 6 and then signed him to a contract worth 6 million .66, but I don't think he's ever worth that. I don't know. I think everybody agrees. It seems like around the mid 6s, around the mix is comparable for Jesper Bratt. And I don't think that's asking too much. I don't think it's going to kill us in a long run because it feels like he's just progressively getting better. Do you see him as being one of the top 20 forwards in the league? No, I think he could scratch the surface. I think he could get close to that.
Yeah,
I mean, top 20. I'm not saying top 10. I'm not saying top 10. I'm saying top 20. He's definitely already in a top 50. 100%. 100%. 6.5, but he might very well ask for 7.5. I don't know. Would you okay, Keith? Dude, I'm loving YouTube tonight. Loving it. Keith brings up a great question. Would you package him for Keith Tkachuk?
No, we talked about this on Devils After Dark. I would prefer not to. I would rather do a Severson Holtz package and hang on to Jesper Bratt. That's my perspective on the matter. I would not want to give up Jesper Bratt. I would rather keep him and hang on to Holtz, and then package Severson and Holtz. That's just me.
Okay.
Will Bratt Severson get the job done? Yeah.
Facebook Live says Douglas Walker, and we know Douglas Walker hates Severson, so it's no secret that he would want to trade him away. But he says Bratt, Severson, and a prospect for Tkachuk. Now, let's rewind a little bit because if you remember correctly, going into the draft this year, the Devils reportedly and supposedly, and this is the thing, is we don't know exactly what the offer was because we're not behind closed doors. They supposedly tried to move the second overall pick to Calgary for Tkachuk. Now, I brought this up last night in that mega space that we had on Twitter. I think Brat Pack asked, like, what would be your the one free agent or the one trade or whatever that would, you guys want to go after. And everybody was saying something relatively like, I think Nick Villano was saying Tarasenko would be a good idea. And I was like, dude, swing for the fences. If you want to go after Tkachuk. Tkachuk, I think he fits the mold of what you want this team to be. He's a gritty player who could put up monster numbers, especially if he has a center like Jack Hughes. I think he would flourish with the Devils. But to get him, you're going to have to give up a decent amount. So it would have to probably be Severson, Holtz, a first round next year, and like a mid, maybe a second round the following year or something like that. But you're going to have to give up something relatively big. And you're saying no to Bratt. So
I would say no to Bratt. I would do Severson, Holtz, and a draft pick. I think that would get the job done, especially with the pedigree that Holtz comes with and how high he was drafted and selected. And all of his hype, I think you can still sell on it. Now, it's tricky. I think Jesper and Severson, and then, you might be able to hang on to the draft pick and do like a more of a minor prospect with that bunch. It may get the job done. I just don't want to get rid of Jesper Bratt because, as you were just saying, wherever he went, the offense went last year. He made a lot of other players around him better on the ice. Holtz, we haven't seen it yet, but there's still a lot of hype. We've all seen his shot. We've all seen the highlights, but we haven't seen it on the North American side of things. We've seen it in the Swedish Elite League with the bigger ice surfaces, which is much different than North America. We saw him up here very briefly, but he looked lost. He did not look like he belonged yet on the ice. Is he going to develop into a superstar 40-goal scorer? I hope so. But there is someone who already has, and his name is Matthew Tkachuk. So if you can get him, plus a very high-quality defenseman in Damon Severson, who, let's face it, unless he's going to like the Colorado Avalanche or something like that, he's going to be in your top four. He may even be in your top pairing, depending on what team he's going to. So if you throw in Severson, you throw in a stud prospect like Holtz, and then maybe a draft pick the next year, I think that is a good package for a Matthew Tkachuk, who is probably going to walk on you anyway. He's an RFA. As soon as he's a UFA, he's walking. So, and he may not play. He's asked to be traded in the past. So that's me. That's just me, though. I'm not Tom Fitzgerald.
A few things. So, the chatter going on a YouTube Live is pretty incredible right now. So Ramona Rice said that Bratt wants 8 years at $7 million. And Ramona, I hope you can kind of just clarify if you're hearing this or if like where are you getting this information from. And she said that Fitzgerald wants 8. Somebody was saying, I don't want to give up on Holtz just yet. And that's one of those things like, yeah, but you have to, if you want somebody that's already proven, it's like, do you want something that you know already works in Tkachuk? Because if so, I would give up Holtz. I would give up that piece, even though, yeah, like you don't want that to bite you in the butt, like, later on where you're like, man, this kid is an absolute stud. And like, we gave up on him way too soon. Then somebody else is saying,
did we give up on him, or did we?
Well,
I don't know if we
Jonathan
gave
was
up
saying,
on him as used him in the way that can make our team better. Like Holtz is not a sure thing.
Yeah,
Tkachuk and Jesper Bratt are. They're proven at the NHL level. And somebody else was saying, to me, that's where I look at it.
And somebody else brought up the point, like if you're trading, I wish I can find it. Eric was saying. The issue with trading Bratt is for Tkachuk is that you would be trading one of your top 6 forwards just to get another top 6 forward. So what is that? Cutting off your nose to spite your face or something like that. So pretty much what you want is everybody wants Tkachuk, but I don't think Calgary is just going to blow it up like that. Well, Calgary, listen, he might walk, like Scotty just said, he might just walk on you. So they might have already had that conversation. He might be like, yeah, I'm not really happy what's going on right now. You just blew up my line after we had an incredible year. Like Johnny didn't want to come back. Screw it. I'm out.
Calgary, there's no way they're going to be able to compete with Edmonton next year. No way. They're not going to be able to do it. So if you want to hang on to Holtz, there's your other top 6. So you trade Bratt and Severson. You save that money from Severson, able to re-sign Tkachuk for a long term, and then you move Holtz into that other top 6 line.
Yeah.
So it's either do you want to keep or top 6 position? Do you want to keep Bratt, who is already proven, or Holtz? And obviously we're saying this with a lot of just thinking and having fun and talking at a bar kind of deal over here. We're obviously not NHL GMs, but in my mind, if you lose Bratt, then you have Holtz in that place to fill that spot.
Yeah.
It's more flipping Severson with Tkachuk. Because the money that you were going to spend, if you re-sign Damon Severson, you're going to have to pay him around $6 million as well. So do you
100%.
save that? Yeah, so do you save that money now that you got Marino on the hook for the next 5 years or 4? Is it 4 years or 5 years? I can't remember. At 4.4, yeah. So the next 4 years, you got Marino there who can handle your second line. You got Dougie on the first. And I would not be surprised to see Simone Nemec run up that depth chart really, really fast. But either way, you have some other defensemen there that can fill that role. You save the money from Severson. Use that to sign Tkachuk. And either way, Holtz or Bratt is going to cost you at some point or another.
Yeah.
So it's if you trade Bratt, then I think you only do that if you're 100% sure Holtz is ready to take that step. If you're not sure about Holtz, then you dangle him out there instead of Bratt.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, is you don't want to, they're not going to dangle somebody and other teams look at it. They're not stupid. They're not going to be like, oh, you're going to give it this to kid. And, he hasn't really done anything for you. Luckily last year, he did really well in the AHL and put up some really solid numbers. So I think he was at over a point, maybe at a point a game last year in the AHL, maybe a little bit over. But Holtz has all what you want in a top line, scoring winger. But the problem is, every time we brought him up last year, I don't know if he was getting a fair shake. I would love to look at the numbers and see how much of the time he spent up on the top or up in the big club, how many times he actually had an opportunity to play with Jack Hughes. Because I feel like that's who he needs to play with. I feel like Holtz, See, and this is a great part. So, looking at the way the team is constructed, if you put Mercer, Nico, and then you put the dude that we just got from Tampa Bay. Come on, my brain's
a lot.
If you put those three on a line, that's one hell of a line. That's a forechecking, grinded out line that can score and can make you pay for mistakes. And I think that line needs to happen. I feel like that is like a solid, like, okay, boom, we already have, that's one established line. You could have Jack, Igor, and Jesper. I think that's a solid line as well. And I feel like when those three are clicking, it's they can be lights out. But the problem with that one is Sharon Govich has to start the year actually scoring goals. He can't wait until the end of December to start turning it on. He can't wait until 2 months into the season or a month into the season to decide to, become relevant in the lineup. So if he can come out of the gates and actually start producing right away, that'd be really good, because then boom, you have two lines right there that are pretty solidified. The thing is like if you trade but then you bring in Holtz into a third line, but who are you playing Holtz on the third line with? Janssen and...
Well, I wouldn't even have Mercer on the second line. I would have him on the third line with Halla and Tatar, so he can learn a little bit more. And like I said, in my dream world, I would rather have Tkachuk up on that top line with Jack and Igor, and then throw Jesper, Nico, and Palat on the second line, and have a Mercer throw Halla in the center because he can play center as well, and then have Tatar on the opposite side. I don't know about Janssen where he's going to end up. You still got Jesper Boquist, you still got Miles Wood, you got Mikey McLeod, you got Nate Bastian as well. So you got some guys in there, but I like as see with Tkachuk, I like the idea of just our top six is very crowded. I like that idea.
I don't know, man. I feel like it would be better to know. I feel like an idiot saying this. It would be better to know if they can get a deal done before arbitration, like before he actually goes through all the way through arbitration. It'll be nice to see if they can get something done. And if it feels team friendly, I know somebody was just saying that they're projecting 5.7, and that can't be right at all. Oops, I jumped over to the wrong thing here. So I don't know, man.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like in like you were saying before, in the sixes is like sounds reasonable. I don't think it's that big of an ask, but I don't know. I really hope that if Holtz comes up here, he gets a fair shake with like a decent, line of, playing with somebody that can actually skate with him and, utilize his speed.
See, the thing with Jesper, why is he only projected at 5.7, which I think is probably accurate. That's why I said around like $6 million. Here's his point totals: 35, 33, 32, 30, 73.
Mm-hmm. That's a big jump.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's
That's
not
a
55,
big ass jump.
67. It's all 30s, and then all of a sudden 73. Now, can we say that we hope he turned the corner and he figured everything out? I hope so. I believe he has. Yeah. But is there proof? Is there proof like in the performance so far? There's not. There's nothing that says that, unfortunately, if you're going to arbitration, there's nothing that says that last season wasn't a fluke and that he's not going to go back to getting a 30-point season, only playing 74, 51, 60, 46, and then 76 games.
Yep.
So
all right,
that's where that 5.7 I think comes in, and I'm sure his agent is trying to get like a $7 million contract for a long term, and that would be fantastic to lock him up for a long term. But maybe if he had like 2 at least 2 seasons of like 70 points or something like that, you can say that, hey, the first 3 were just rookie and then some injury bugs, and then look, he figured it out, and you have at least 2 in a row. But there's really only 1 season that we can speak of.
I guarantee that's what he's banking on going into this arbitration, is like, this is going to be his back-to-back 70-plus point year where he's going to be like, look, this is my value. Like, now I've proven it to you, and rightfully so. If that's the case, then boom, it's a no-brainer. All right. Here we go.
Shane's saying Nylander's more consistent. I don't know. Nylander seems a little flaky. I don't know. Up there in Toronto.
Yeah, but if you could go to New Jersey and play out of the spotlight of Toronto, there's some guys that just don't like the glitz and the glamour of these big hockey towns. Toronto, Montreal.
Do you know what you like to say, though, Reed? The other team's fans, what they have to say about the player?
Always, yeah. Always.
Maple Leafs fans, they kind of get
but Maple Leafs fans are brutal. Yeah, but that's like...
They're brutal, yeah, but...
They're brutal, and they're brutal on like guys that don't need to be brutal on. Like Nylander, I think, is a pretty solid player. He disappears at points, and I feel like consistency, but I don't see. Okay, I have to preface this by saying I don't watch enough Nylander to really.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh, he's this or that. But I mean, like, I don't know. Would I be disappointed? I wouldn't give up Bratt to get Nylander, but I would definitely, enjoy having him on our team, 100%.
Yeah.
But Ryan on the YouTube Live also asked, "What do you guys think of the Smith and Marino trade?" And I'll let you go first on that one, bud. I already know how I feel.
I mean,
a fly in here that is driving me crazy. If you people look at me and I'm going like this, I'm going to lose my mind because this fly is going to drive me crazy.
I need a line change.
No, what am I going to do? Like attack this thing? All right, if it comes near me, I'm going to take off my hat and whack it. All right, go ahead.
No, I thought it was a great deal, for the Devils in the sense that, like I said, I think it sets up, the Devils for another move as well. Did it necessarily need to be done? I mean, you save some money. There he goes. He got it.
Oh, I caught it. I caught it in my bare hand.
Wow.
Now I don't know what to do with it.
Now,
all right, I'll be right
now
back.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go let it go.
Yeah.
I'll do the right thing. Ew, it's crawling in my hand.
There you go. I thought it was a good deal in the sense that, like I said, it saves money because Severson is going to be looking for, a longer-term deal. He's going to be looking for more money. And you already have Marino locked up for that term and for less. And he's a right-handed shot who they say is, kind of been stagnant since his rookie year. But he was playing 20-plus minutes in the playoffs last year for the Penguins. So I didn't see Tyce Smith doing that. So I'm all about this. And Ty, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about Marino, but Ty would get bumped off the puck so much that, I don't know, I just found it unacceptable. The drop passes to no one, all the turnovers that he created. He just lost that mojo that he had in his rookie season. And I don't know what it is. I hope he works it out, and I hope he's a good player. I don't wish him ill will at all. But I think Marino, putting him in there on that second pairing, again, locked up for relative, it's Severson's at like 4.1 now, and Marino's at 4.4. So you're getting that second pairing defenseman for relatively the same price for a number of years.
Yeah.
And to me, for Ty Smith, especially when you have Riley Walsh, Simon Nemec, Seamus Casey, Muhammad Doolin, all on the right-handed side, on the right side, I think it was fine. I think it was a fine move. And, we sang a sad song. We had a little, eulogy for Jack Hughes' grill master, Ty Smith. I don't know who's going to make the medium rare steaks, next season. I'm sure Luke will be along soon, and Jack will make Luke, cook all the steaks and everything like that. But for right now, maybe Simone will be the new chef master on the grill. We're not sure, but I'm good with it, man. I think it's a solid deal for the Devils. I think Marino will get better. Like I said, he was playing 20 plus minutes in the playoffs, so you got to be doing something right to be playing those sort of minutes in the playoffs.
I think it's a great move for everything that you were just saying, and I feel like Marino is where we wanted Tyce Smith to get to, like what we were hoping he would develop into. I feel like Tyce Smith's ceiling is probably a lot higher than Marino, but at the same time, like this past year, there's a lot of question marks, and if your team is willing to move on from you, and if you read the tea leaves on this one. There's a couple of things that were, like kind of raise the old eyebrow if you're like The Rock, like, oh, what is that? So Ron Hextall, after making the acquisition, basically said, we gave them a really, really good defenseman, and we're taking all the risk on what we think Tyce Smith can become.
Right. There's no guarantee.
That's exactly right. That says a lot. Ron Hextall hasn't, he has a very like quasi record as a GM. I don't want to say a lot because he could probably destroy me still at his old age. He could punch a hole through my head. But I feel like there was a lot of question marks to Tyce Smith on the ice and off the ice. Apparently. He was sleeping through his phone with a lot of text messages and phone calls, and he woke up and Fitzy was like, hey, you're gone. And if I remember correctly, he was traded after 1:00, so the kid's sleeping past noon. I'm just kidding. That's total speculation. But I don't know. Maybe there was just like they believe in him enough to get something for him, but they don't believe enough in him for the future.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but I'm going to put a pin on that for 1 second because he's on the last year of his contract, and it's his expiring entry-level contract, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a bad year. He doesn't have a good year, but he doesn't have a bad year. He has like a so-so year this year for Pittsburgh, let's say. Pittsburgh doesn't decide to bring him back. He becomes a UFA. Do the Devils dare like bring him back into the fold and say?
Well, he would be an RFA.
Next year?
Yeah.
I think he might.
He's on his entry level. So
you're right.
He's still young. I think Keith here on YouTube makes a great point also that we were talking about is, in this day and age of this stagnant salary cap that has not increased, which really needs to because players' contracts, they're increasing. But the salary cap is not. The one great thing about Marino is he is basically cost controlled. You know exactly what he's going to cost for the next 5 years, $4.4 million per season.
Yep.
Whereas Damon Severson, he's coming off a career year last year, and I hope that Damon has another great year this year. I don't want to see him do bad. I want to see him do good, especially if he stays on the Devils. But even so, like if the guy moves on, I want to see him have a good, successful career as well. He's been here for what, 9 years now? Like he grew up with us. We watched Damon grow up from an 18-year-old kid right out of the draft and right into the lineup. We're talking about a Devils After Dark. That's where the whole Taylor Hall trade came about. The Devils said, we are going to be in the Damon Severson business and not Adam Larson business. And that's why Larson was dealt instead of Severson. So, right. I mean, I think that the cost, exactly what it's going to cost. You know how you can budget that in. He's going to be there on your second pairing. He can play a lot of penalty kill time, him and Graves, or even give Graves a little break here and there because, Siegenthaler is going to be out there as well. But hell's bells, that would be an incredible shutdown pairing there, Siegenthaler and Marino on your second pair.
Yeah.
He can play solid big minutes. Like I said, he's playing 20-plus minutes in the playoffs for Pittsburgh. He was solid. Yeah. Can he get better? Yes. He's a little bit bigger than Ty. He's like 6'1", 180.
And I feel like Damon Severson is also in the category of Devils defensemen that catch crap for no good reason.
Just ask Sam Wilk.
Yeah, Sam wanted to leave him open for the Seattle Kraken to take him. But
that's right.
Yeah, and then everybody roasted him for that. But the one thing that I want to bring up is, with Damon Severson, he has he's had some weird plays, like the butt puck where he put in a goal on her own. He's scored on his own goal, I think, at least 6 times in the last 2 years or something like that. Whatever crazy stat that is. He has moments where he looks great, and he has moments where you're like, come on, what are you doing? But overall, I think he's not that bad. But he's in that same camp as Andy Green, as Paul Martin, as some of these defensemen that are everybody just hates on. And then when he leaves, everybody's going to be well, except for Andy Green, because he already played 1,000 games for us. But when he leaves, everybody's going to be like, oh, I can't believe we let Severson go. And it's dude, you were the same guy that was ripping him apart on a nightly basis. And now you see he's a decent defenseman on it. I'm not saying he's best defenseman in the league, but he's a decent defenseman. He's a damn good one.
And unfortunately, in the salary cap era, and especially with the amount of prospects that we do have, if we see them come through the system, this is just something that we're going to have to get used to, that when these guys hit UFAs, we're not going to be able to afford them. I mean, look at everything that happened, with Tampa Bay and how many guys they've lost, in the past couple years. We were talking about Palat, it was him, Tyler Johnson, and Kucherov on that second line there, after Stamkos there on the first, 2/3 of that is gone now. And Palat was there for 10 years. Johnson was there for so long. Yanni Gord was there for what? Was he there for 5 years before he got poached, or maybe 4 years? They had a lot of those fan favorites that people really loved, that when they get to a certain age, they had to cut bait on a little bit. And I think, I think that's something that the Devils may see themselves in a situation, in the future, where some of these guys are not going to be able to keep all of them once they become UFAs, or once their salary gets too high, unless that damn cap goes up. It's, what is it, stuck at 82? Come on, let's go. Player salaries are going up, but the cap is staying the same. It's not going to equal out for fun times in the NHL when you got all these guys that are starting to push $8-9 million contracts. It used to be $6 million. That's a big deal. Not anymore. Not anymore. That salary cap needs to go up. And by the way, we want to say hi to everyone on Facebook Live too. Pete and Al chiming in over there.
Yeah, dude, I have to say something I just noticed on Facebook Live is they have closed captions, and I just want to see what happens. Just to make my own stuff amused here. So, anyways, Cindy Fogg on the Facebook Live actually asked. I thought we had signed Vanecek already, and the answer to that question is we got him, and he's an RFA. So he is, he's under control, but it's kind of, RFA is tricky because you're a restricted free agent. And I feel if the Devils sent him a qualifying offer, what happens now is if they didn't send a player who's an RFA a qualifying offer, what happens is they become an unrestricted free agent. But as soon as they send in that offer, that means they're locked in no matter what. So if they
can fight it through arbitration,
they can fight it. They can go into arbitration, which is what's happening now. I feel like he is in a situation where he probably wants a little bit more, and the Devils are like, dude, you have to prove that you're worth a little bit more. And I feel like their arbitration with him is probably way more. It makes way more sense. Do you know what I mean? Like you're coming in from Washington. You're coming in from a completely different system. You're coming in as a goaltender who split time. You were not a true number one. You were essentially a backup. 2 years ago, you were a backup 2 years ago. And if Henrik Lundqvist wasn't, didn't have a heart problem, you wouldn't have been on the team. So I think bringing him to arbitration is not a terrible idea. I think it actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. And to be honest with you, like this team, the way that Fitzy's putting it together, is it like on paper the most dynamic and crazy looking team in the world? No, but I feel like he's addressed a lot of the issues, Vanecek being one of them, Palat being another one. And listen, we're not the only ones that were saying that Palat makes sense for this team. If you watched the ESPN draft special, not draft, I keep saying the draft, the ESPN free agency. Well, yeah, 100%. Rick DiPietro, Kevin Weeks, Butcher Grass, all on the point the other day during free agency special that they had. All three of them were saying that if the Devils don't get Gaudreau, they need to get Palat because he makes so much sense for this team. So it's not like we're the only ones that are like,
he's a winner.
He's a winner, but he also fits the mold of what this team needed. We needed a little bit more size. Yeah. We need somebody that's going to go into the corner and fight. And listen, and something pissed me off last night. I have to say, I forget. Somebody said, the Devils are 37 points. How are they going to make up 37 points out of a playoff spot? I don't believe that this team was 37 points away from a playoff spot bad. It was misfortune that led them to be 37 points away from the playoff spot. It wasn't
the goaltending and defense were not so good last year. How many shorthanded goals did we give up?
Yeah, but how long?
Our defense, we fixed some holes, but it was Swiss cheese there for a little while, too. When Gravy Train went down, Dougie went down, there were some holes on there that they needed to fix. Siegenthaler came through. He stepped up big time this year. But, Sam has talked about it plenty of times, the old NFZ. It took a while for it to come into effect. And when it did, it changed. But this team was still giving up breakaways after breakaways because they're trying to do the stupid home run pass the entire time. So you got all your offense going this way, and you try to home run pass it, and the opposing team picks it off in stride the opposite way. Now you got everyone that's got to stop hard on their skates and do a sprint back the other way. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. These outlet passes, not going to happen, dude. Not going to happen.
Not going to work.
Not going to work.
Who's this guy?
And if you look at our draft, if you look at our draft, Nemec and Casey, these are things that these guys are really solid with. Skating the puck out of the zone. And what was it, Sam? I think Nemec, his scouting report said he's got passes that find the forward's sticks. That was his scouting report. He's got outlet passes that find the forward's sticks. Not afraid to skate it out himself anyway if there isn't a pass. So he's smart, he's reading the play, and he's going to cut down on those turnovers, which our goaltending was so atrocious, we couldn't count on them, except for the 2 weeks that Nico Dawes came up there before they played him out, like starting every single game. And I'll admit, I didn't want to see Nico come out of there either because he was hot. But except for those 2 weeks, we didn't have a goaltender who we could really rely on to make those big saves. Every time there was a breakaway, it was just like, that's a goal. That's a goal.
Dude, and the problem is like you're rolling out your eighth goaltender in a year. Like consistency is a big thing too. The days of Marty playing 72 games a season is gone. Like the last guy to do that was
freaking Louis Domingue is in the playoffs. How the hell did Louis Domingue get into the damn playoffs with the Penguins? And he's like pitching shutouts. And I was like, what? Where was that?
But then we saw what happened to him, unfortunately. And then the Rangers went and signed him after they beat him. They're like, we can't beat him. We might as well sign him. Yeah. Listen, I don't understand, but you can't knock, dude. Chris, last year we made fun of the moves that the Rangers made, but they worked. I hate to give him credit, but Chris Drury he had a hell of an offseason last year. He had a pretty good one this year too. So you got to, and that's the thing too. It's like you have a team across the river. Our biggest rival went to the Eastern Conference Finals, to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't give a damn who you are. If I'm the owner of this team or the GM of this team, I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, now the bar is raised even higher. Because not only are we looking at it as like, oh, it's a rivalry thing, blah, blah, blah. One thing that a lot of people overlook is what happens when a team wins. You start getting young fans. Kids that are, in elementary school, in middle school, that don't really have an alliance to a team. Maybe parents that don't really watch the game as closely. But what happens when you start winning is you start to gravitate. These kind of quasi fans will start to gravitate towards winning. It's like the gravitational pull of the sun, and as soon as they start getting sucked in, a lot of times that's it. That's who they're going to be a fan for the rest of their life, and we're going to miss that window. And what happens is, as we're getting older and we have kids, we'll pass down the torch, but you're missing that gap. So then when you have half-empty games and your team is winning, we're like, well, that's why, because we miss these windows of opportunity to convert younger fans. I know it sounds like a little crazy, but it's true.
Well, I think you're right, and I think winning will solve a lot of it, and I think it'll definitely solve the attendance issue over there. Yes, Sam Wu.
I just want to add to what Beer Baron was saying that since 2013, we've lost 10 years of a generation of fans because of all this losing. And I've been making that point out to the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment people that you may be planting the seeds now, but they're not germinating. And there's could possibly be an entire generation that would go with the Rangers and Islanders, maybe Flyers instead of the Devils. And I want to point this out because your dad, Beer Baron, but a good friend of mine a few years ago, he has a son. My friend's a diehard Devils fan. Naturally, his son is a Devils fan. But the worst thing a kid could say to a dad about this is, Dad, I know you like the Devils, but I'm going to start looking at other teams. I like them too, but this other team's exciting or whatever.
It's not you, it's me. Or it's not me, it's you. That's that kind of that kind of talk.
That's going to start happening. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And listen, we've had this conversation before where winning breeds culture, right? So winning breeds in a lot of different things. You not just on the ice, but off the ice. It's really important because off of the ice, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed too. You need to be able to sustain the businesses that are outside the arena. You want to keep the good energy in the town going. You want to be able to bring in better, I forgot what the hell, like getting the food and all that crap in the, what is that called? In the concourse. Thank you, brain. And I think it'd be cool. Like, listen, man, there's so many great ideas and great opportunities. Like, if the Devils had a section like a beer garden where it was only New Jersey breweries that had beer in this beer garden, and you could have different breweries from around the state. You can get small batch breweries. You could do like specials where you're bringing in certain things. It's not that hard to do. You have the platform to do something like this, and I think it would be a great touch. All the little things, that are a part of this great state that we live in need to be more intertwined into the arena. Like, this team needs to start winning because those are the things that maybe we'll start to see coming back. Where they're not going to cut corners anymore because they have people in the seats, and if they have people in the seats, well, they have the money to spend. I don't know. I know these guys have a ton of money, but this team needs to start winning for us, for them, for everybody involved.
I think that's the bottom line, and I do feel like we are on the cusp of that. I feel like this year's team is going to win more definitely than last year's team, but I definitely feel like this year's team is going to be in contention for a playoff spot. I hope they can push for it and get in, but I definitely see them the way they are constructed now, with actually some goaltending. Injuries aside, we never know, but we seem to be set up with some nice offensive pieces. If we could get a healthy season out of Jack Hughes, I wouldn't be shocked to see Jack Hughes put up, 90 to 100 points. That wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. Nico, full season, I expect him to be, plus 60 again. Jesper, same thing. You're going to throw a Palat in there? There's like an extra 50 points for you right there on the second line. Plus more responsible two-way play, less turnovers. Yeah. Less mistakes. You got a gravy train. You got a healthy Dougie this year. That was a big loss for that team last year. Dougie taking that one. Not on the chin'em. We all know Ryan Graves took it on the chin'em. Dougie Hamilton got it on the jaw. Ryan Graves on the chin'em. The Samu special. If you're going to get cut on the chin'em. On the chin'em. But, Dougie being back, that's going to be huge for that power play. PK, he did he did what PK can do. He had some moments, but, otherwise,
a couple of slew foots. I actually thought PK had a decent season. In all things relative, I thought he had a pretty
not for $9 million, but,
No.
Yeah. I mean, he was good where he was in the third pairing, but at times he had to be the leader on the power play point once Dougie went down. Once Ty Smith couldn't do anything, Gravy Train took over for a little bit, but he got dinged up too. You're not going to put Siegenthaler out there on the point. I think with some health, a full season from Jack Hughes, but I know people may think I'm, caveman mentality over here or whatever, but I still feel that we need to protect Jack Hughes out there.
Captain Caveman.
And I would love to see Matthew Tkachuk out there protecting him as well on his wing. Man. Because you know what? Nice. If you're going to try and line up Jack, guess what? Matt's going to be right behind you waiting to knock you out. And that's what I like.
And he's also going to be on his wing scoring buckets and buckets of goals.
You put those two together, it'll be just like last year in Calgary.
Team USA,
Gaudreau and Tkachuk, it'll be Hughes and Tkachuk. They will make an incredible pairing.
If the United States goes back to, or not the United States, if the Olympics goes back to using NHL players, which they were going to do it this year until COVID said no. Team USA is going to be so filthy in the next couple of years. So in 3 years, when the Olympics comes back around, I don't even know where they're playing. I know this is jumping off the rails a bit, but
LA, aren't they out here in LA or something?
Are they?
Or when is
next,
that?
Next winter? Next winter
Olympics.
Oh,
no. I think it's like summer or something. I think I heard they're coming to LA. I don't know when the hell they're going to be.
But dude, all I got to say is Team USA is going to be fun to watch. A lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
But then again, so is Team Canada, because you're going to have McDavid and Bedard, or however you say that kid's name, that's going to be the top number 1 overall pick next year. So and you have Makar on Team Canada. All right, Team Canada might be way more fun to watch than Team USA. I don't know.
Shane is saying we should go get Tom Wilson.
You know what? You hate him when you play him. But if you have him on your team, you're pretty happy with it. That was like Clarkson. Clarkson used to piss people off when other teams hated him. Claude Lemieux.
I hate Tom.
Everybody hates Claude Lemieux.
I can hate Tom Wilson, but we've said it before and we'll say it again. Tom Wilson single-handedly destroyed the Rangers organization in about 10 seconds time on that ice that one night when he was ragdolling everybody. So I do have a little bit of
rebounded pretty nicely though, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, what they do? They lost.
They just got lucky.
No one's gonna remember that they lost in the conference finals.
Yeah. Shesterkin
that
had
time
only
we
one
lost.
good year.
That's real. I mean, hey, tip your hat to that guy, because that's the guy who really carried him through. I mean, what's his name? Had 40 goals. And Panarin's always going to be good. Zibanejad.
Man,
they got some good players. They got some really good players with it, but
wants to get Nino Niederreiter real bad.
Nino Niederreiter would be an option, but I mean, if I'm gonna make my selection, I'm gonna go with Mr. Tkachuk.
I want Tkachuk.
Well, Niederreiter's he's a UFA, and he's also I believe he's a Swiss, so he's familiar with Nico Hischier.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people that were saying Timo Meier or Meyer, however you say his
from
name,
San Jose.
San Jose.
Yep.
Who's anytime him and Nico play together, their connection is unreal. Not unrealistic, unreal. And then there's somebody else that was saying Pastrnak from Boston. Listen, dude, I would be happy with the Pasta Man. I would be happy with
if you could get Pasta,
Timo.
yeah.
Either of those guys, I would be pretty stoked about.
So, Timo Meier is also he's only 25. He is 25 years old. He's 25 years old, which aligns more with what Fitzy. Fitzy wants those young players. That's what he's talked about.
What's his contract look like right now, though?
Oh, he doesn't have a big. Was he 700,000? I think he's. How long has he been?
Nemec is going to be going straight to the NHL next year. Somebody just asked, where do you think he's going to go? He's going to go straight to the NHL.
I wouldn't be surprised
if Damon Severson gets moved. If he doesn't, then he'll go to the AHL, and then trade deadline happens, and unfortunately, we'll probably lose Damon Severson, and then Nemec will come up around, depending on where the team is. If the team is playing well.
Yeah, you will see. I mean, I think if they can move Severson for like a Tkachuk, someone like that, then they'll do it. And Nemec will be in there as your third pairing with Brendan Smith, much like how Damon Severson was when he came straight out of the draft and started playing as an 18-year-old.
And it's not out of the realm of possibility that he wants to play in the NHL right away, too, by the way. Think about what him and Slavkovsky were saying. Slavkovsky was saying...
Oh, absolutely.
That both of them were saying in the draft, they're like, we want to be ready for the NHL. Like, we want to play in the NHL. Yeah. But you remember, listen, development camp just ended.
World Championships, they were both there. They played those games already. They're playing with the men, So they can. I honestly would not be shocked.
And don't be shocked if he has growing pains. Don't be shocked if he has
he'll have growing pains.
That's why you put him in the bottom six. You put him in bottom six. Bottom six. You put him on the bottom.
But someone like Brendan Smith, that's a good person for him to be with there on that bottom pairing. Because Brendan Smith can play. He does play both sides of things as well.
Yeah.
So
that's what you call an escape clause.
Would not be shocked. Yeah, I would not be shocked if he made the team out of camp. I really wouldn't. And that again creates a logjam there on that right side. Now that you got Dougie, now that you got Marino, you got Nemec. If he's not ready, I don't know. We'll see what Fitzy does. Does he wait? I don't know. If someone like Tkachuk is available and they're asking, I think you got to take that.
Yeah. I
don't think you wait. I think you go on that. So, but anyway, we should wrap up there, Beer Baron. We've been going for quite some time.
I know. I will say, we'll jump right into final thoughts. I'm going to say my final thought is, last night I had a blast with everybody. Like I said, if you get a chance to go on to, I believe it's on the Brat Pack. If you go on his Twitter space, it's, I think he put up the recording from last night. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again. Hopefully we'll be able to have, maybe talk to some of those guys on some different platforms as well. All that being said, it's great to see Devils community come together. Remember, we're a team. Negativity should not exist within our group. We might not all agree on everything. We might not agree on trades. We might not agree on who they bring in, who the coach is, who the GM is. We might not agree on every aspect of the team, except that we still are a fan of that team, and we still root for this team. We still bleed that black and red. So, with that saying, enough with the negativity, enough with the hate, enough with the BS. Let's all come together. I'm going to say it every week. Let's all come together. Let's unite as one. We need to be strong. That blue team over there, they're getting pretty damn strong. And you know what's going to happen this year? When we play them at home, they're going to try to come into our building and invade our building. You know what they're going to say? Oh, we can't sell our tickets, so we'll come and buy them for you. they're going to come into our building, but when they're there, even if they outnumber us 10-1, we need to be louder because we're together. So that's all I have to say.
And I just want to say, Lorraine, Nemec has signed his ELC because he wants to play in North America. He is not going back to Europe. He will either be on the Devils or he will be on the Utica Comets, one or the other, and that is it. My final thought is I think this team is getting really, really close. Really, really close. And I think we're only a few pieces away from being a legitimate team.
Yeah.
Not going to say contender yet, but I will say legitimate team. We have been through a lot of a couple ups, but a lot of downs there. But this team is really finally starting to take form, and a healthy Jack Hughes can be. Don't be sad about Johnny Gaudreau, because a healthy Jack Hughes can put up those points no problem. And if you get him a power winger like that, look out. You got Nico and Palat holding down that second line. You got a third line where you can put some younger players like a Mercer. Maybe Mercer moves up. Who knows? Maybe Igor goes. I don't know. But you have a lot of good things about this team. You still have some salary cap room, and you're going to get more because Haula, Johnson, and Tatar are all off the books next season, along with Severson. See how it goes, But that's a lot of money coming off the books. And as Sam Wu pointed out on Devils After Dark, Jonathan Bernier, also contract off the books next season. So while it seems like we're spending some money right here, we're going to have a fair share to spend in the next year or two as well. And hopefully that damn salary cap will go up and it'll give us even more wiggle room with these increased salaries. But I really think this team is close. They just need that power forward. I really feel like to put them over the hump. And we'll see. It's setting up nice.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts. Right now, Tom Fitzgerald's not done. He's got arbitration. He could be making another deal, whether it's now or closer to the season, or maybe an NHL trade deadline mid-season. But the one move that I'm interested in what he makes, along with Lindy Ruff, is who's the other associate coach to run the penalty kill and the defense, taking over Nazardine's spot. I like the Andrew Burnett signing, 3 years, but I think it's very critical who they're going to get to run that defense, because a lot of people say it's all the goalie. It's all goalie, Sam. Blah 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 blah. And I will debate you to death. You still need to help out your goalie. You still need to have a great defense, a disciplined defense, and I think that would probably be one of the biggest moves that I'm interested to see, that you don't see the headlines about, but like what Larry Robinson did with Jacques Lemaire on that 95 team, what they did with that defense, it got you a Stanley Cup. So that's all I have to say. I want to thank all those watching, listening in. We're going to drop the podcast at midnight for your morning and afternoon commute. Can't tell you how happy I am with this Devils community starting to come together one by one. Beer Baron, you did a great job on that panel.
Hey.
We'll still have to work on this MySpace thing, but you did a great job.
It's a multiverse.
Yeah, we'll have to get you some notes next time.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I'm just kidding around. We just like busting your chops.
No, it's true. I'm terrible at that part.
But want to thank all those watching, and the numbers are growing, folks. We're building something fun here. Absolutely. As I'm queuing up the music, finding the graphic. So enjoy your week, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow on the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.